A quiet evening is shattered. A mysterious recording surfaces, Prince Andrew's voice, unmistakable, speaking about the late Queen's final wishes. The contents? Explosive. The reaction? Instant panic inside Buckingham Palace. In less than an hour, the leak spreads like wildfire, triggering lockdowns, legal meetings, and whispers of betrayal within the royal walls. What was said? Why now? And who leaked it? As headlines explode and reputations hang in the balance, the monarchy faces its most fragile moment since the Queen's passing. This isn't just another royal scandal. This is the crown, cracked open by one call. The unexpected leak. The leak begins quietly, too quietly for Buckingham Palace. At exactly 7:42 p.m., a mysterious audio clip appears on a small online forum posted under an anonymous user with a timestamp from May 2024. Within minutes, someone recognizes the voice. It is unmistakably Prince Andrew, speaking in a low, tense tone. The clip is barely 38 seconds, but it is enough to ignite a storm. Palace aides, scattered across private offices, start receiving frantic alerts on their secure phones. Coffee cups shake. Doors slam shut. And the controlled world of royal protocol is suddenly thrown into chaos. Inside the palace's media control room, staff freeze as they replay the clip repeatedly. The voice on the recording mentions the late Queen Elizabeth II, and the mention alone is enough to jolt everyone. The caller on the other end remains unknown. No name, no introduction, only the faint clicking of a distant line. The ambiguity fuels panic. By 7:50 p.m., the clip reaches social media, gathering over 10,000 views in less than 6 minutes. A crisis team is summoned with urgency. The recording is vague, blurred, and cuts abruptly. But that's what makes it dangerous. Royal advisors know that even a partial sentence can destabilize the palace if it references the wrong subject at the wrong moment. And this one does. Andrew speaks about her wishes and what she really wanted, which listeners immediately assume refers to the Queen's final days in 2022. Palace staff gather in a small war room usually reserved for national emergencies. The phrase "internal breach" is spoken aloud. Phones are confiscated. Security teams begin an immediate trace of the leak's origin. Within the next 12 minutes, senior aides rush between offices with folders, binders, and sealed envelopes. No one is allowed to leave the estate. The palace's reaction is swift and defensive. Draft statements are typed, deleted, rewritten. No one knows how much more audio exists, or if the person who leaked it holds longer recordings. The biggest fear? That this is only the first piece of a larger scandal. The monarchy, built on silence and control, is now exposed by just one short, shaky audio file. The palace's alarms haven't even stopped ringing, and already the internet hunger for answers is uncontrollable. People want to know what Andrew said, why he said it, and why someone chose this night to release it. But the deeper shock comes next, the transcript. And once those words hit the public eye, the crisis inside Buckingham Palace turns from disorder into full-blown panic. What Andrew said wasn't just personal, it was explosive. What was said? The transcript drops at 8:11 p.m., less than 30 minutes after the audio leak. It's posted by an unknown account on a foreign server, making it nearly impossible for palace cybersecurity to track. The transcript expands the words that were muffled in the audio. It reveals Andrew speaking about the Queen's estate, using phrases like, "She didn't want it handled this way," and "I know what she said in 2019. These specific years immediately intensify speculation. The phrasing sounds personal, not the formal, distant tone the royals use in official discussions. Another part of the transcript shakes palace staff even more. Andrew refers to decisions made behind closed doors and suggests they were not honest about her final instructions. The pronouns alone create chaos. Who is they? Who is being accused of dishonesty? The palace has always been fiercely protective of the late Queen's legacy, guarded since her passing on September 8, 2022. The idea that Andrew might be suggesting hidden disagreements becomes a narrative no royal PR manager is prepared to handle. Aides underline the phrases, circle dates, and begin cross-checking Andrew's known movements during the final 48 hours of the Queen's life. Listeners point out that Andrew's tone in the transcript feels desperate. One line reads, "I can't let them erase her choices." The word erase becomes viral within minutes. Another says, "I have the papers. I have what she wrote." Whether real or not, those lines evoke imagery of secrets, hidden documents, and inner wars within the firm, a term the royals rarely acknowledge in public. Analysts note that Andrew seems to be framing himself as the guardian of the Queen's wishes, a role no one in the family officially assigned him. As the transcript spreads, reporters highlight that Andrew appears to claim access to information others do not know about. A line referencing notes from 2015 suggests he is speaking about something stored long before his official downfall in 2019. Critics point out that this could be Andrew trying to elevate his relevance again. Others argue it sounds like frustration, perhaps a plea to be heard. But regardless of motive, the transcript creates a singular, undeniable truth. Andrew has inserted himself into the narrative of the Queen's legacy, and he has done so publicly, whether intentionally or through a leak. The leak isn't just damaging, it's destabilizing. Now the palace must confront the question it didn't want asked. Why was Andrew talking about the Queen's legacy at all? And more importantly, why was he doing it in a private call, at an unknown time, with an unknown person? These aren't harmless words. They're cracks in the structure of royal secrecy, and those cracks push the palace into its most urgent internal investigation yet. Why the call was so sensitive. Inside Buckingham Palace, the Queen's legacy is treated like sacred ground. Every document, every decision, every diary entry tied to Queen Elizabeth II is monitored by archivists and locked away in climate-controlled vaults. So when Andrew's leaked call references her real wishes, staff panic immediately. The late Queen was on the throne for 70 years, and her final months in 2022 were handled with absolute care. Even the hint that Andrew might have inside knowledge triggers alarms. Not because of what he said, but what he implied. Andrew hasn't been a working royal since January 2022, when he stepped back from public life. Yet, the leaked recording suggests he still has access to deeply private matters. He speaks as though he is still involved, still informed, still part of the inner circle. This alone violates the strict boundaries established after his removal from official duties. If Andrew is referencing sealed documents, private conversations, or internal decisions, the palace needs to know how he accessed them. Even worse, Andrew appears to bypass protocol entirely. Senior royals ordinarily communicate through briefings, scheduled calls, or secure channels, but the leaked call feels informal, unmonitored, and emotionally charged. The phrase, "they're trying to push me out," suggests tension with unnamed family members, possibly referencing events since 2019, when Andrew first began losing public standing. Palace officials immediately recognize what this means. Andrew may have been privately engaging in conversations that blur authority, and undermine the institution's chain of command. In the palace's inner circles, trust is everything. The royal family depends on confidentiality to protect relationships, legacies, and stability. A rogue call, even a short one, poses a threat, not just to the monarchy's image, but to its internal unity. The call ignites a quiet fear among advisors. If Andrew felt sidelined, what else might he have said? And if someone recorded him once, could there be more recordings waiting to surface? The firestorm inside Buckingham Palace. By 8:38 p.m., lights inside Buckingham Palace are blazing. Normally, the halls dim after dinner, but tonight, every floor is alive with movement. Private secretaries run between offices. Advisors from 3 royal households gather in a restricted briefing room beneath the North Wing. Phones are silenced. Everyone is told to stay off email. The order is blunt. Contain it. The leak is not just a scandal. It's a breach of trust. The name Prince Andrew is now being whispered more than the king's. The phrase, "the firm returns," used behind closed doors with a sense of dread. It's the old nickname for the monarchy as a business, a machine, a hierarchy. Staff know what it means. Decisions will be made swiftly, and not everyone will survive the fallout. At 8:46 p.m., the Lord Chamberlain is summoned to meet with King Charles's most senior advisors. A red folder containing a printed transcript of the call is passed around silently. The question on everyone's mind: does Andrew still have access to classified information? In another room, a junior aide leaks the transcript to a reporter from the Daily Record, quoting a line Andrew allegedly said about the Queen's real intentions for the family estate. By 9:03 p.m., the quote appears on X, formerly Twitter, and is reposted 14,000 times in the first 10 minutes. The palace loses control of the narrative. Meanwhile, some insiders begin leaking their own rumors, suggesting Andrew has been feeling increasingly isolated and unpredictable since late 2023. By 9:20 p.m., the mood is openly hostile. The family is split. One camp believes Andrew must be permanently cut off, silenced. The other warns against making him a martyr in the public eye. Inside Andrew's private residence at Royal Lodge, lights are still on. No one knows who he's speaking to or if he's preparing another call. But one thing is clear. For Andrew, this leak may not just be an embarrassment. It may be his final undoing. The chaos inside Buckingham Palace reaches a boiling point. Phones are locked, security is doubled, and loyalty is questioned room by room. But while the palace scrambles to contain the internal fire, the outside world is already watching with sharpened eyes. The leak has gone public. The transcript is everywhere. Now, the royal family is forced to confront what they've always feared: a scandal they can't spin, and a brother they can no longer control. The public response and outcry. By 9:45 p.m., the public has taken over the story. Social media platforms flood with hashtags like Andrew Leak, Royal Recording, and Queen Secrets. The clip is replayed on TikTok, edited into YouTube breakdowns, and broadcast across major UK news outlets before 10 p.m. A BBC headline reads, "Prince Andrew call ignites royal panic." Screens in London pubs, phones in trains, even stadiums at late football matches all buzz with the same words. Did you hear what he said? Tabloid covers are rewritten in real time. The Daily Mail, which had gone to print at 9:15 p.m., halts presses to include a late-breaking front page. Andrew's dangerous claims. Meanwhile, columnists and royal biographers are pulled into emergency panel discussions. Many draw comparisons to past royal embarrassments, especially the infamous Tampon Gate call between Charles and Camilla in 1993. But this, they say, is different. That call was personal. This is political. For the public, the reaction is split. Some view Andrew as a disgraced royal trying to claw back power. Others believe he's revealing long-silenced truths about what happened behind palace walls after Queen Elizabeth II's passing in 2022. A trending thread on Reddit claims the monarchy has shut him out and that he's fighting for relevance. One viral tweet reads, "Andrew was exiled, but not erased. This proves it." Another reply, "This proves why he should have been." The palace remains silent, but that silence is quickly filled by commentary, conspiracy, and chaos. Trust in the institution, already shaken after years of family fractures, Harry's memoir, and the Queen's death, is under pressure again. For some, this is the beginning of another unraveling. For others, it's just one more reason why the monarchy no longer belongs in the modern world. With public trust wavering and media pressure rising, the palace can't hide behind tradition anymore. A royal voice has spoken outside official channels, and now everyone is listening. The next move won't just shape Andrew's future, it will determine the crown's credibility. A response is inevitable. And inside the palace walls, lawyers and press teams prepare for what must come next. The royal family's strategic response. At 10:28 p.m., Buckingham Palace releases a rare official statement. It's short, just 42 words, and carefully phrased. His Majesty is aware of the leaked audio circulating this evening. We are conducting a review. No further comment will be made at this time. The press office prints it on traditional letterhead, but the formality doesn't soften the impact. This kind of language means only one thing: serious trouble. Immediately, legal teams go into overdrive. Specialists from the royal household's legal firm, who once handled sensitive crises around Harry and Meghan in 2021, are reactivated. Their first task: trace the original leak. They work alongside cyber units connected to GCHQ, the UK's security agency. Their focus is the source device, the one that recorded the call. If it came from inside a royal residence, the situation becomes far more volatile. One theory suggests it may have come from a disgruntled staff member with access to Andrew's private line. Within the family, positions harden. Some insist Andrew must take full responsibility and issue a retraction. Others argue the palace must draw a line, not just to protect itself, but to preserve the Queen's image. Discussions begin about removing what few privileges Andrew has left, including restricted access to archives and private meetings. At 11:05 p.m., King Charles holds a private meeting with two key advisors. No aides are present. The phrase "reputation over relationship" is reportedly uttered. The real fear is not what Andrew said, but that more exists. If he recorded other conversations, or worse, if someone else did, the family could be exposed to another wave of scandal. This moment becomes a precedent. Can the monarchy maintain control over its own private communications? Or has the age of royal secrecy finally reached its end? What this means for Prince Andrew. By 11:38 p.m., the royal household's attention narrows on one man: Prince Andrew. Inside Royal Lodge, his residence in Windsor, lights remain on well past midnight. Security detail tightens. A senior aide is seen entering through a side door, holding a folder marked "Review." It's clear now, Andrew isn't just at the center of a PR storm. He's under internal investigation, and not just for the call, but for what it reveals about his continued access to royal information. Andrew lost his official duties in January 2022 and was stripped of his military titles and HRH styling. Yet the call suggests that he still holds, or believes he holds, insider knowledge about the Queen's estate, final decisions, and inner workings of the firm. He speaks in the recording as if he were a guardian of truth, but the palace sees it differently. To them, he's a rogue element, speaking without sanction, with no position of authority to do so. Advisors inside the king's office fear this may be Andrew's final act of relevance. One aide reportedly says, "He's testing how far he can go." Others believe the call may have been made weeks ago and only leaked now, timed to maximize damage. Either way, Andrew's isolation is now complete. He's cut off from official duties, has limited public support, and is seen internally as a wild card, capable of disrupting decades of controlled legacy in 38 seconds. No apology has been issued, no clarification offered. And with the leak spreading across 14 countries by midnight, Andrew's silence becomes louder than his words. If this is a bid to regain power, it's a risky one, because every word now weighs more heavily than ever before, and every remaining tie to the monarchy is hanging by a thread. Andrew may have hoped to remind the world of his place in the royal family, but now the institution is reminding him of what he's already lost. Inside the palace, silence is no longer neutral. It's tactical. And Andrew's path forward, already narrow, is rapidly vanishing. But the damage doesn't stop with him, because this leak doesn't just put one prince under scrutiny. It puts the entire institution at risk. The institutional risk for the monarchy. By 12:15 a.m., the fear inside Buckingham Palace grows sharper. This isn't just a personal scandal, it's institutional exposure. The monarchy has long depended on discretion, protocol, and secrecy to survive. Now, a single leaked call has pierced that shield. Andrew's words touch on the Queen's estate, her final wishes, and behind-the-scenes decisions the public was never meant to hear about. And that makes this more than a PR problem. It's a structural threat. Staff meet in the East Wing archive room to review who currently has access to communications, records, and legacy documents tied to the Queen's final months. The system, built over 7 decades, was never designed for digital vulnerability. Most official communications are tightly monitored, but private conversations, nearly impossible to police. And if Andrew recorded one call, or if someone else did, how many more could exist? The institution begins asking difficult questions. How do you stop leaks from former royals? How do you preserve the sacred image of the crown in an age of microphones, screen captures, and data trails? And what happens when even a whisper from a sidelined royal goes viral in less than 10 minutes? For the monarchy, these are existential concerns, because the more the institution tries to control the narrative, the more it reveals how fragile that control has become. Advisors now talk openly about reputation fatigue. Since 2020, the monarchy has endured a string of image blows, from Harry and Meghan's exit to the Queen's death to questions around succession. The leak reopens all of it. It's not just about Andrew. It's about whether the palace can still operate behind closed doors, or if the age of absolute control is officially over. The crown survives on more than tradition. It survives on trust. And right now, that trust is cracking. The institution is no longer battling the press. It's battling its own members, its own systems, and its own ghosts. But in moments like this, leaks don't just happen. They're triggered. Which leads to the question that won't go away. What drove Andrew to make that call? the hidden agenda and possible motives. At 12:44 a.m., palace insiders begin debating the most unsettling question. Why now? Why did Prince Andrew make that call? Why mention the Queen's wishes? Why hint at internal conflicts? Some believe it's personal, a last grasp at relevance. Others suggest it's strategic, a move to influence how the Queen's estate or legacy is remembered, perhaps even to challenge decisions made after her death in 2022. One theory is internal sabotage. Could someone have leaked the call not to damage Andrew, but to damage the king? A call like this, surfacing now, could be used to discredit the institution's current leadership. It raises suspicion that deeper conflicts exist within the family. Another theory says Andrew is angling to protect something, perhaps an entitlement, a property, or even documents he believes were ignored or buried. The recording might not be a mistake. It might be leverage. Staff also consider the idea that Andrew was defending himself. With continued public scrutiny over his past connections, including fallout from the 2021 Epstein settlement, he may be attempting to reshape his public image by presenting himself as a keeper of the Queen's true wishes. The line, "I have the papers," could be his way of saying, "I matter, I'm still here." But the strategy, if it is one, has backfired. He's opened a door that cannot be closed. Every motive paints Andrew in a different light: the insider, the rebel, the scapegoat. But all roads lead to one reality. He placed himself back in the center of a royal storm. Whether by force or desperation, his voice has re-entered the public sphere. And with it, the royal family's deepest pressure point has been exposed. Internal conflict made public. Motives may be debated, consequences cannot. A single call, barely a minute long, has left the palace spinning, the public speculating, and the family reeling. And as the sun begins to rise over London, one thing becomes clear. This story is far from over. Because the phone may have gone silent, but the fallout has only just begun. The cliffhanger. By 5:11 a.m., the palace is quiet again, but not calm. Advisors sip cold coffee. Legal teams draft memos. Screens are blacked out and locked away. But the recording still circulates online, gathering over 4.2 million views across platforms. Nothing has been deleted. Nothing can be. And while the monarchy prepares for a statement, one question dominates private conversations. Will this trigger a formal inquiry? The Queen's final wishes were supposed to be untouchable. Now they've been touched, dragged into the public eye by her second son. Internally, voices grow louder, urging King Charles to act. Not with anger, but with finality. There's talk of removing Andrew's remaining privileges, access, even his housing allowance at Royal Lodge. No decisions are made, yet. But the tone has shifted. This isn't family business anymore. It's institutional integrity. Across the UK, morning talk shows begin coverage at 6 a.m. Radio hosts replay the audio. Newspapers prepare emergency editions. The public doesn't move on quickly from royal drama, and this isn't just any drama. It's about the Queen, about inheritance, about secrecy, about the question no monarch once asked. What else don't we know? And somewhere, as the first emails of the day are opened and new headlines fill the screens, a phone rings. We don't know who answers it. We don't know what's said. But if we've learned anything from the last 12 hours, it's this. History doesn't just repeat itself inside the palace. It leaks. The phone call is over, but its echo won't fade anytime soon. What began as a brief, muffled recording has now sent shockwaves through the most protected walls in Britain. Prince Andrew, once silenced and sidelined, has forced his way back into the conversation, not with a press interview, not with a book deal, but with a single call that slipped through the cracks. And in doing so, he's exposed more than himself. He's reopened the door to questions the palace thought it had buried with the late Queen. The monarchy is built on legacy, on discretion, silence, and tradition. But tonight, all three have been shaken. When Andrew spoke of what she really wanted, he crossed a line. Whether the intent was personal, strategic, or reckless, the result is the same. Buckingham Palace is now fighting to contain something it never saw coming. In just a few short hours, public opinion has turned, headlines have hardened, and behind the scenes, royal advisors are scrambling to contain the fallout. Not since the days of Tampongate or the fallout from Harry and Meghan's exit has the firm been so publicly vulnerable. And yet, this time it's different. Because this time, it's not just about scandal. It's about the Queen's legacy, her memory, her wishes, and the dangerous weight of royal secrecy. The crown may still sit on King Charles's head, but now the question looms: who's holding the real power behind the scenes? And if one call can cause this much damage, how many more are waiting to be heard? The story isn't over, not even close.